All right, we've started talking about the slope of a line. Okay, if you remember from our previous lesson, the slope of a line basically just tells you how steep that line is. Okay, and we talked about if you have the graph, a picture of the graph, all you have to do is pick 2 points that are on that line, and then you're basically looking for directions. How do you get from one point to another? And then all of that using what we said, rise over run. You count how far you rise, and that goes as the numerator, and then how far you run, and that goes as the denominator. Okay, and then we also said that they use m to represent the slope. So what we're going to look at in this video is, what if they don't give you the graph? Sometimes all they do are give you 2 points that fall on that line. They don't even give you the graph. All right, so here's how you find the slope if all they give you are the 2 ordered pairs that fall on that line. What you do to find the slope, which again we said was m, was you take your change in y's, so that means you're going to subtract your y values, y minus y, over your change in your x values. Take your x value minus the other x value. Now remember, in an ordered pair, they always go x, comma, y. Your x is always the first number in the set, y is always the second number in the set. Think alphabetically. So in example 1 right here, we have the points 4, 2 and 6, 3. So in this first point, 4 is your x value, 2 is your y value. In this second ordered pair, 6 is your x value, and 3 is your y value. So I'm just going to use this formula right here to find slope. I need to do change in y's over change in x's. You're just going to subtract them. So what are my 2 y values? Well, my 2 y values are 2 and 3. Now, it does not matter whether you do 2 minus 3 or 3 minus 2. It does not matter. Let's say I do 3 minus 2. Now, since I did 3 minus 2 for the y's, since I did the 3 first, that means when I go to do the x's, I have to do the 6 first. You have to pick the corresponding x value that went with that corresponding y value that you picked first. So since I did 3 first with the y's, I have to do 6 first with the x's. And then we just solve this. 3 minus 2 is 1. 6 minus 4 is 2. That's it. Okay, let's look at another example. Okay, let's say our points are -3, 5 and 4, -2. So again, I'm going to use the same formula, y minus y over x minus x. Okay, keep in mind -3 and 4 are my x values, and 5 and -2 are my y values. Okay? All right. So subtract your y's. Okay? So 5 and -2. Now be very careful when they throw negatives in there. Watch this. I'm going to take 5 minus a -2. You have to be very careful of that. It's not 5 minus 2. It's 5 minus a -2. Okay? Then when we do the x values, since I did the 5 first for the y's, I have to do the -3 first for the x's. So -3 minus 4. And then just simply solve it. Okay, now 5 minus a -2. Remember, your minus and negative becomes a plus. So 5 plus 2 is 7. And -3 minus 4 is -7. Now, you can simplify this. Positive and a negative make it negative, and 7 over 7 is 1. So for this one, your slope would be -1. Okay, now let's look at one more example here. Okay, let's say our points are 0, -2, and -5, 3. Okay, so keep in mind your x values are 0 and -5. y values are -2 and 3. So again, here's my setup. Slope equals y minus y over x minus x. So the y's first, -2 minus 3. And then the x values, well, since I did -2 first, you have to do the 0 first. So 0 minus a -5. And then we just solve it. -2 minus 3 is -5. And 0 minus a -5, there's that minus a negative again, so it becomes plus. 0 plus 5 is just 5. And then you can simplify this. A negative and a positive make a negative. 5 over 5 is 1. So just like the last one, we got a slope of -1. Okay, so this is finding the slope between 2 points that fall on the line. They don't give you a graph. All they give you are the 2 ordered pairs. So remember, you just take your y values and subtract them over your x values, subtract them. Your change in your y's over your change in your x's.